All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chupacabra Tutorials channel. I'm your host, Larry, and it's time for an updated look at Microsoft Windows Security. What is it? It's a free antivirus. It comes with your Windows installation. Is it any good? Yes. Microsoft provides most of the identifying antivirus definitions to all of the other companies, and so it makes sense that they'd have their own virus scanner, and this has been available since I believe Windows Vista / Windows 7-ish era. So it's been around for a while. It used to be called Windows Defender. Now it's just built in called Windows Security. Inside of this security center, you'll find everything from virus and threat protection, which is your scanner, to account protection. And if any of this stuff needs any action on it, it'll have a big scary red X on it and says that action is needed. Just go ahead and click on whatever portion is in there, and it'll walk you through things like turning your firewall on, making sure your private network firewall is on, all that sort of good stuff. It's actually relatively easy to go through here and make sure your computer is safe and secure. But most of what I want today is we're going to start by doing a good old-fashioned virus scan. I just did this like a minute ago to test things and see how things were going. It didn't find anything, but all you got to do, go in here, go to virus protection, make sure threat protection is turned on. If not, it'll ask you to click a button to do so, and then you can do a quick scan. Once you've got this enabled, Windows should pretty regularly scan your computer to see if there's anything wrong. And it'll do things like run a quick scan, and quick scan just checks your computer in the most likely to be infected areas to make sure that there's nothing that shouldn't be there. If there is, it'll let you know, and it'll give you some recommendations on what to do about it. A lot of antivirus programs will tell you to quarantine certain files, but a lot of the stuff that I've found in the past with the Windows security has just been a quick click to delete, things like tracking cookies, and then we're good to go. It found 0 threats, and the last one took about a minute to complete, but this one only took about 25 seconds. And it didn't find anything, and it scanned about 45,000 different files. So it looked at quite a few things. But if you're not satisfied, or there's something weird going on in your computer and you really want to be sure that it's not a virus, you can go to Scan Options, and when you click on that little button, you can do things like look at the protection history. If you've found recently like viruses in the past, you can check the history and make sure that they've been deleted properly. You can see if there's any threats that have been false flagged that you've allowed, and maybe you think that that's something weird and you don't want to allow it anymore. Those are options up here. But mainly what you want to look at is down here under your scanning options. You can do things like you can do a full system scan, which is something I totally recommend. Once in a while, you should let your computer scan absolutely everything to make sure everything, is looking good. Note that this can take a really long time. I would set this to go overnight and check it in the morning. You can do a custom scan. This allows you to scan a specific folder. Like, let's say somebody from work sent you something to work on, but you think that they're bad at computer security and might have given you something in that folder. You can scan that folder specifically to make sure there's nothing wrong. You can also do a Microsoft Defender offline scan, which can scan for troublesome to remove stuff and make sure that it isn't on your system and then restarts your device. This takes about 15 minutes, it says. So you have options. You can do all those sorts of things through here, and it's really easy to do. And then you can just kind of go down through here and check all of the other settings to make sure everything's looking good. Like you're signed into a secure Microsoft account with a nice password. That's what this first one is. You can see if dynamic lock is set up or if it's available on your device. You can make sure your firewalls are active. You can make sure that there's nothing going on in, the app and browser control. And each one of these sections, if there's something wrong, it'll have a button that you can click to walk you through making sure everything's hunky-dory. And if not, they give you more information on where to go from there to make sure things are fixable and easy to manage. And then down here, it's got like a device and performance and health report. This will tell you things like if there's something wrong with your hard drive, your hard drive's starting to throw a lot of errors when it's trying to read and write. That could be a sign that your hard drive is failing. Stuff like that can show up in here. Under storage issues, if there's any weird, suspicious activity in your apps and software, it'll show up here. And all of that stuff, pretty straightforward. Or if for whatever reason you're kind of having problems and you just want to do a fresh reinstall of Windows, it can help you do that down here through this additional info on the fresh start. And then there's also some settings here for parental controls for family options. I don't really use this, so it's here. You can do things like limit and control children's screen time. You can look at what apps that they're using. All that stuff is available down here. But again, I don't really use that, so I'm not really going to walk you through that in this specific tutorial. This has mostly just been about using the virus and threat protection systems settings to scan your computer for viruses. So yeah, that's like 90% of it is just go in here, make sure virus and threat protection is turned on, run a scan, run a full scan. If it doesn't find anything, you're good. If it does, follow the prompts to delete or quarantine it, and you should also be good. So that'd be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I've been your host, Larry. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody, and have a good one.